Hmm. Why is my pen not working? That pen's dead. Okay, well, okay, that's weird. Hmm. Well, let's just close this and reopen it. Anyway, hi! Decided to do an art stream today, hopefully. I'm not sure why this isn't working. That was weird. So, we'll see if reopening it does anything. Ah, there we go. Okay. That was strange. Hasn't done something like that in a really long time. So today, yeah, technical issues. I tried drawing and nothing was showing up on the screen, but now it seems to be fine. So, no clue what happened. Just closed it and opened it back up. But it seems to be working fine now. How are you this morning? I guess it's more like afternoon at this point. Oops. I kind of got a late start to the day. And let me know if the music is too loud or my voice is too low. I'm currently still trying to figure out the setup on this other computer, and getting sound right has always been hard for me, so I'm doing really well today. Um, Trying to get some work done. I feel like the past couple of days, like, it's one of those things where, oh, I'm just going to do this little side thing real quick and get it done, and then it ends up taking most of the day to get the side thing finished. But I'd like to try and get this artwork done today. Maybe. We'll see. Fortunately, I'm not sure how entertaining art streams are, because I know I'm going to have lots of downtime where I'm not talking much because I'm trying to focus. But I will try to talk. I'm glad. I'm glad you're enjoying Palia. It's it's super fun and quite addicting. And I was gonna stream the patch yesterday, and I'm actually now glad I didn't, because part of the new content um, is broken, so I can't complete the next quest. But I might stream tomorrow because I started a second account, like to do a fresh start. It's crashing on you a lot? That's not good. It could be too I think yesterday there was a lot of instability with the patch. So that was probably causing a bunch of issues. But it's still a beta, so, you know, it's still a work in progress. I know they want to do a big Switch release um, later in the year, but I don't know if the game's going to be ready for that. And your graphics drivers are all up to date and everything? Because I know that can cause some issues. Huh. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not a computer guru. But it's probably something with like optimization or um, maybe just the servers were being. Is it something you've had consistently, or is it just something that was happening yesterday? Ah. I mean, the game's got issues, but I'm sure they'll work stuff out as they go along. But apart from, excuse me, from apart from the constant crashes, the game's great. And unfortunately, um, I mean, all the computers I play on are pretty souped up and have a lot of. If I'm gonna spend money on something, I spend it on my stupid computers. I tend to never really have any problems running games on my computers. Today we are working on a, this is gonna be a Sagittarius design. This was an economy slot, so they had some specific call-outs for it. So that is what we are working on right now. We're just getting the line art finished up so I can get to this. I think line art is probably the one thing that takes me the longest. This is really something that I wanted to have done probably Monday, but that didn't happen. Ended up getting busy doing other stuff. Trying to do commissions and run a small business is far more difficult than you'd think. Well, in all honesty, I'm running this off of my workhorse computer, which doesn't actually have a graphics card in it. It's the computer I do all of my art on, because you don't really need a graphics card for that. And the one that I have all of my equipment hooked up to. And I was going to stream on the brand new streaming PC as far as art goes, but to try and get all of my tablet settings set up and get all of my brushes the way I want, it's going to take me at least like 2 days to just do that. And then the tablet that I have, it's a backup tablet, I don't like it. I haven't liked it since I bought it. It's a lot smaller than the graphics tablet I'm using right now, and it just feels uncomfortable to use. And really, when I'm doing art, I want to be as kind of comfortable and cozy as possible. I want to feel like I'm hunched over some like tiny piece of equipment. So I am super glad that this kind of low-powered PC seems to be able to handle the stream. I'm also surprised that the internet here at my studio is decent. I don't pay for the internet. My landlord pays for it here. And he's always said like, oh, the internet here is kind of terrible, but it actually seems pretty good. It's at least for streaming. Hopefully for the music I have in the background, which is the soundtrack to Wildstar. I've never gotten dinged using it because Wildstar shut down years ago. So hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for using it. I miss that game. That game was awesome. That's like one of the biggest like pains is trying to find music that you can use on a stream. Like the funniest thing, like when I used to make videos, the longest part of making the video was trying to find some music to add to the video that wasn't either something I had to pay for or copyright claimed or it's something that was free to use. I can turn the music up a little bit. Let me know if that's too loud or if you can hear it at all. Is that better? Okay, cool. I had it turned down pretty far because it's hard to tell what's more overpowering, the sound of my voice or the music. So, and who doesn't want to listen to the wonderful sound of my voice? But I'll get back into the swing of doing streams again. It's not like I did it a whole bunch back in the day, but I used to make videos and stuff. Terrible videos, mind you, but, you know, they were mine. I tried doing, like, review videos for MMOs. Oh yeah, I do. And then sometimes I worry, I'm like, does this pose look a lot like the pose I did 3 dragons ago? You know, it's and I'll go to Pinterest and kind of get inspiration as far as I'll look for like shapes and stuff that kind of inspire me. Um, but oh yeah, definitely something that sometimes I'm just like I really struggle with sometimes. But I actually think the thing I struggle with the most is probably color. Even though a lot of people say like, oh, that they really like my color, sometimes I just feel like my stuff is really kind of bland because I don't add a lot of like neat patterns and details to my pieces like other people can. And sometimes I'll spend just an abnormally long amount of time trying to get the pose just right. And there was once another artist who posted this video, and it was actually very inspiring. And basically, the gist of it was, get it done. It's never gonna be perfect. If you need to do the work, just do it. And because as an artist, you're gonna sit and you're gonna nitpick everything. And you're gonna nitpick on details that no one else is gonna notice. So instead of focusing on perfection, just focus on trying to finish. Aw, thank you. Just sometimes I really wish I had, I don't know, put a little more pizzazz into some of my pieces, but I don't know, I think the shape is really important, and I think I do pretty good with getting the shape of my designs down good. Hmm. I'm sorry I zoom in and out so much. It's probably nauseating. Like, I don't know how other artists, like, keep far back on their canvas to draw. That I've never been able to do that. I need to be, like, up close and personal. Right in the middle of the lines when I'm doing art. Also need to make sure that everything's closed off for when I actually go to do coloring. Oh, over the past like probably year, my vision, like I have great distance vision. I can see a freaking half-mile away. But anything like right up close, I need glasses for. And that just comes with age. Hooray. And I don't need, like, strong glasses. Sometimes I just have to wear reading glasses. Like, no prescription or anything, but... I've been so used to having, like, perfect vision. The program I use to do my line art is called Fire Alpaca. It's actually a free piece of software that I have found draws the best, smoothest lines, because I really want my lines to be as smooth as possible. And then once I'll do the base colors in Fire Alpaca and the lines, and then I'll go into Photoshop to do gradients and like some smaller detail stuff. But most of the artwork is done in this program. And there is a pay version of the program that I think you can buy on Steam, and it's like $40 or something, and it has a few extra bells and whistles, but it's more for, I think doing comic book stuff comes with extra things, so it's not really something I need. So I've never like really felt the need to buy that software. But if I really needed that stuff, I'd definitely pay for it, because this is just a really good little program, and they're always updating it. They're always adding free brushes to the shop. I say shop but there really isn't a brush. It says brush shop, but it's just free. It's just free brushes. It's not really a shop. It's also super low impact on your computer. Yeah, and it's unlike Photoshop, as I said, it's really low impact on a computer, so that's probably one of the reasons this computer can handle streaming this, because it's keeping my CPU usage like really low. Yeah, I mean, so if you're looking for like you know, a great little program to do art on, I definitely recommend using Fire Alpaca. Okay. And I too have the eternal curse of having to redraw lines 15 times. Because they're not perfect. Yeah, so I do also use Photoshop, and I do pay the monthly fee for Photoshop, which I hate. I'd rather just buy Photoshop outright, like I used to. I used to have a copy of Photoshop, um, but it doesn't work with if I get some files from people to do stuff. A lot of the times, those files don't work correctly in Photoshop, so I have to have the newer version. But I did find something interesting with Photoshop. So there's the standard Photoshop package, and I think it's like $20 a month. But if you buy the version of the package that's for photography, that comes with Photoshop. And it's only $10 a month. So I get the package that's for technically for photography, but you actually get Photoshop that you would get in the Photoshop Suite package. That comes with like some other stuff too, but I don't use those programs. So if you just wanted Photoshop, get the photo package. Yes, the eternal struggle of trying to get lines. It's one of my problems. Ah. And I've actually come to realize that when I'm redrawing a line over and over and over again, it is my brain telling me, stop drawing, step away for a little while, and come back to it. Otherwise, I'm literally going to spend 15 minutes on one line and it's just not going to work. But if I take a break, come back to it, like maybe an hour later, it's going to go completely fine and smooth. That's how it always is. I always know that if I actually take a break and come back to something, it's gonna go a lot smoother. But I never do, and then I just sit and get frustrated with what I'm working on. Oh, trust me, I know that same feeling where you have a vision in your head and it just never looks the way you envisioned it. And I think honestly every artist has that issue. You have some grand idea and then when it's on paper it's like, well, this looks nothing like what I envisioned. And I think it's a rare artist who can actually have a vision in their head and actually put it onto paper and be exactly what they wanted. Because I definitely don't. I just start drawing and then we see what happens. I do think, though, I'm gonna try and start streaming whenever I'm doing art, just because maybe it'll help me focus a bit more, because lately I have just been kind of all over the place as far as focus goes. I will start working on art, and then it's like, oh, well, I guess I could work on this Etsy stuff, or I could work on this side project I've got, and then it just takes me an eternity to actually get art finished. Because it used to be I could pop out one of these pieces a day, and lately it's been probably every 2 days. And I need to get back into the habit of being able to do art a little bit faster than what I have been. Because this piece should have been done probably, at least, yeah, by yesterday, but I got too sidetracked trying to get this computer to work right. I've always thought 3D art was super freaking cool. And like people that can do Blender like amaze me. That's why I want to learn Blender. Just one of those things of, when shall I find the time to do that? Yeah, I have burned myself out, like last year especially. And that might be one reason too why I'm going slower on art this year. Maybe I'm just trying to not burn myself out. But at the same time, art is kind of my bread and butter. That's how I make my living. So if I'm not producing, I can't pay my bills. Because Etsy, for as wonderful as that platform is not paying my bills recently. Back in the COVID times, Etsy was doing really good, and I could, one of the reasons I even have this studio that I'm in right now is because I was making enough money with Etsy that I could afford this place. But now, even though the rent here isn't super expensive, I'm not making enough a month on Etsy to pay for the rent here. And that's kind of disturbing. So, not to say I can't pay my rent because I have other streams of income that come in, but I was kind of hoping that once I got the studio that Etsy would continue to be, the cash cow it was at one point in time, but now, like, I'm barely making like $300 a month off of Etsy. And it just seems like every other time I turn around, they've increased their fees. So I kind of wish I could get off of Etsy, but trying to start your own website and actually drawing traffic to it to get people to buy stuff, that's a lot harder than, you think. But in all honesty, having this studio has been a boon too, because it's getting out of my house, for several hours a day and not just sitting there doing work. It's separating my home life and my work life. And for the first couple of years that I was doing this, it was work, work, work. Everything was work, because I'm always home. So there was no separation. And you kind of think like, oh, well, I'm doing my small business stuff. You don't need that separation. You do. You definitely need to have a separation between your home life and your business life. Because even though there's that saying, like, if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, that is bull. No matter what job you do, it is still a job, and there will be days you don't want to do it. It's just gonna happen. Even if you love your job, there's gonna be stuff that is going to annoy you. It's going to be a problem. Yes, I should do this another X the other arm now. Yeah, I mean, work is work, but you're always gonna have, I have administrative days where I just have to sit and do paperwork, or I have to uh, be on calls with companies, or I order product from someone and it's made wrong, so I gotta call them and have new stuff made, and they're always gonna come up. There's always gonna be something that comes up. It's coming. It's there. Just it's gonna be janky because it's kind of in the back and it's holding the bow, but you're not really gonna see it too much. Oh, the mystery bags? The mystery bags, it's a bunch of stickers that I have saved for the past couple of years that have minor little defects, or they're cut a little bit wrong, or they're just kind of the wrong color, or stuff I just ended up not putting on my shop. And they're still good, but I didn't know what to do with the stickers. I didn't want to just throw them away, because any stickers that are actually bad, that I definitely wouldn't sell, I've thrown away. But these stickers were all stuff that, like, the defects are so small, most people won't even notice. So that's why I decided to do the mystery bags. Because I probably have like 400 stickers that are just kind of sitting in a bin. And the longer stuff sits, the more likely it is to get damaged. So that's why I did a big discount on those items, just to get them new homes. Yeah, and I've actually sold a couple of them, so that's cool. And it's just something to, like, because there's, even like the kaiju stickers and some of the other new stickers, there's some new stuff in there too. Stuff that just didn't print quite correctly, but there's nothing really wrong with the stickers. And I'm throwing in more than just the 6 stickers. I'm putting in some extra stuff too. Because it's also just a means to get rid of some stuff I have lying around that, again, is just taking up space. Yeah, I stick all of my stickers to my equipment, and the worst has been the worst has been I would have like really cool stickers on a laptop or something, and then I'd break the laptop, and then, well, I can't really remove the stickers. Ugh, no matter what I do, this hand's gonna look weird. Okay. I am not going to worry about it. I am just going to draw it and get it done, because you're not even really going to see it once I add the effects and stuff in here. Yeah, I don't buy a lot of prints, or not a lot of prints, I don't buy a lot of stickers myself, but I do like buying prints. And I have this big photo album thing that I save prints in. And any that I don't put in there, I typically will frame and hang up. Like, I'd love to do more pins, but they're not a huge seller for me, but that's probably too because if I had more pins, then, you know, they would probably sell more. And shirts, I never know what designs to do because I do all my shirts in-house, so I can do anything. I can put any of my art on these shirts. I just don't know what to sell because I've tried putting designs up in the past, and it doesn't sell because I'm a really bad judge of there's what I like isn't necessarily what other people like. So I definitely want to put more shirts on my shop because that's easy. Um, but I don't know what. And once I did have a custom shirt thing, but that didn't even really do well. I think I did one order where you could pick any artwork off of the Etsy site and I would put it on a shirt. And like I said, I think I did one order for that, even though people have asked tons of times for custom shirts. That is just the kaiju stuff has been what sells the best on my Etsy. Like I would love other stuff to sell well on Etsy, but that has been kind of the main stuff that is sold. And they're really time-consuming pieces to make. I've wanted to add more to that series. I just haven't had time to. Yeah, I mean, I kind of started my Etsy shop by putting up the Mothra design, and then I still sell lots. Like the majority of the stuff I sell on my Etsy is the kaiju stuff. And believe me, I would love if my original art sold better, but it doesn't sell great on my Etsy store. It sells really well at the local gallery that I sell stuff at, but just not online. I think because really Etsy doesn't promote that kind of stuff. Yeah, I wanted to do kaiju for other films because I want to do like I love Gamera. Gamera is my favorite kaiju. I want to do a Gamera in the same style as the Godzilla and the Mothra ones, and I just it's a matter of trying to find time to do that. I love Pacific Rim. That is one of my favorite movies. The first one. The second one doesn't exist, in my opinion. It was never made. Oh yeah, but I definitely do some Pacific Rim kaiju. They're freaking cool looking. Like I didn't watch all of the second one, but from like the bits and pieces I did see, it just didn't have I don't know. It was like they were just trying to make a movie for a different audience and just slapped the Pacific Rim name on it. There are actually reasons. One, you can do full color in the wood pins. Two, I like to do stuff that's as eco-friendly as possible, and the wood pins are made from sustainable wood. And three, the actual process of creating enamel pins is super toxic. That's why there's only, I think, one enamel pin manufacturer in the United States, and the rest are in China because regulations in China are so lax. Um, so the etching process and the smelting process for doing the pins has a lot of waste, and most of that waste is incredibly toxic. So that's one of the reasons I don't really go for the enamel pin thing. They look cool, but I don't want to add to more pollution. I know that's kind of a silly thing to like, take a stand on, but I used to work for an engraving shop, and that's how I learned, directly from the horse's mouth from the manufacturer that these processes are very detrimental to the environment. And I absolutely have nothing against any other artist who goes the enamel pin route. And if I could find um, an enamel pen manufacturer that maybe did things a little more ethically, I would probably, I need to look into the one manufacturer here in the States that does them. Then I might be more inclined to do them. And they're really, really expensive. Uh, that is another concern. Um, I think on average to just have one pin design made, it's $600. And that's not even getting like a big batch. That's probably only getting about 100. And that $600 is essentially you're paying for having a die made. So you want to actually have several hundred to 1,000 pins made, and then you're talking thousands of dollars. And I don't have thousands of dollars. I definitely have to do some kind of a Kickstarter or something if I did pins in that way. And I can have them made in smaller batches. So I have them made in about batches of 50. Um, and they're very affordable. Plus, I like that I can do full color. And they're fairly durable. I have a few on the bag I carry all the time, and they haven't really uh, got damaged. Where typically when you do have enamel pins made, you're gonna have to go through each one with a fine-tooth comb because you're gonna come across probably 20% of them that are gonna have defects. And that's just the the problem with manufacturing stuff like that. Even companies that I've worked with for years, it's almost 20% of the time, I would say, I get products that are defective. Even if it's like repeat jobs or things that they've done similar work, it's just the nature of having products made. I know that sounds really high, but it's on average what I have found. Like I get stuff wrong all like misprinted or miscut all the time. And that's actually one of the reasons I started printing my own shirts and my own stickers, because the company I was using, either they took forever to get stuff to me, or I would order 5-inch stickers and they would be perfect, and the next batch would be 4 inches, or they would be a different color or on a different material. And this was a local company. I knew the guy really well, and he's a great guy, but at the same time, like, him being a great guy isn't great when I'm trying to do running a business. So unfortunately, I had to come up with a new plan, which was to make my own stuff. And believe me, when I was trying to figure out how to do shirts, that was daunting. Had no idea what I was doing. But I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I learned how to do it. I know it's honestly it's the hand position is not correct. It's absolutely not correct. But you're not even gonna see it, and I'm fiddling with it way too much. Because it is absolutely the wrong position that you would be holding a bow like this. All right, I'm gonna finish up some other details. I'll come back to this hand in a minute. I'm getting frustrated. And I usually don't have that many problems with hands. It's just, for some reason... A hand holding a bow, for some reason, has always been an issue. Because it's, especially the way I drew it, it's kind of an awkward position to hold a bow. But again, I'm nitpicking over something that will literally not be visible in the final piece because there's a big glowing arrow that goes over that part of the hand anyway. I'm fairly partial to Asian style dragons because I like drawing very flowy, loose kind of designs. As you can tell with the way I draw hair and stuff, so I really like this style of dragon the most because I think it suits my style and what I like to draw. And I mean, Western dragons are cool. It's, the problem I have with them is I want to make the wings really big so that it's kind of, you can tell that, yes, these wings could hold this dragon aloft, but that would mean you can barely see the main details in the body because the wings take up so much of, like, the area. That's kind of why I don't draw, Eastern or Western dragons like that often. Or dragons with wings, for that matter. Because I want to, like, I have a habit of really wanting to draw those wings, like, huge. And with the series, I'm limiting myself to this paper size, because if I want to put these in a book, I need to fit them onto a certain dimension for the book, so I can't go too crazy as far as, like, the size of a piece. So that's why you'll notice that all of the dragons in this series are all on the same size format. And I also know from experience, though, too, that people kind of have a preference for those European-style dragons. So I'd probably be a more popular artist if I caved and just did those styles of dragons. But oh well, I'm gonna draw what I want. Oh, that's what that line was. Oops. Okay, draw that back in. Alright, back to the stupid hand. But I think next year I'm gonna go back to doing, like, different monsters, not just dragons. I just needed, after last year, I just had kind of a bad year. I needed to kind of reset myself, so that's why I just did dragons this year. There, that looks like a hand. Okay. But I kind of think I need to get back into going back and doing other monsters, not just dragons again. I think I got it this time. Now I just need to go ahead and erase everything else. Whatever reason, since I didn't update on this program, it's been a little glitchy. Hopefully there'll be a patch soon. There it goes. There, that's better. Yeah, for a second my pen just wasn't responding. Not really. I'll draw just about anything. I really like dragons, and that's kind of why I decided to do, just the dragons this year, because it's something that I feel most comfortable doing, I guess. Because after the previous year, I just needed something to just kind of be comfortable doing. Because I really burned myself out last year. But, I mean, I love drawing dragons, but I think, definitely, I kind of miss drawing other monsters. And I wouldn't mind doing... I've always kind of tried doing it, but it's never fully, you know, worked out where, like, I do, like, a monster manual kind of thing. So maybe next year I'll actually do that. Okay, that doesn't look deplorable. That's good enough. I need to add in one more detail here. I might do that. I kind of wish they'd add more critters to Palia. Right now there's really only the Sarnak and the Chappas, and there's a Kitsune. And there's talk of other creatures, but they're not in the game yet, so... I know they'll add stuff later on. Just... I want them to add it now. So, this is the Sagittarius constellation, which I was asked to incorporate into this design, and I'm incorporating it, but I wish I could have come up with a better, more interesting way to incorporate it. It's just such an intricate constellation. If it was a little less intricate, I could have probably worked something out, rather than just slapping it on the shoulder like a cutie mark. Yeah. Like, if it had been, just maybe half as intricate as this, I probably could have incorporated it into the flow of the design, or even shaped it like the constellation, but yeah, that's just, wow. I'd never really paid much attention to the Sagittarius constellation, but good lord. Okay, that will keep separate. Always label your layers, which I hardly ever do. It makes life easier, but who wants to make life easier for themselves? But it's a magic arrow. Oops. Alright, arrow. See what I mean? Like, the arrow is going to cover most of the hand anyway, and it's going to have a glowing effect, so you're really not going to be able to see it much. Okay, so toss those guys in their own folder. Oops. So I can just remove them for now. Put the sketch layer down here. And we can start doing more art stuff. After I save. Now I'm gonna go in and start putting my base colors, which I'm not 100% sure what color I'm gonna make this guy. So we will just start with this color. I've been kind of using this chart I found, and it's been pretty like good for getting kind of a base idea. So I was probably gonna do like these purples and maybe some of like this reddy orange color. I'm not sure how to incorporate it quite yet, but we'll see. I do like some purple and orange. what I have to do now is go around all the edges and clean up all these little cornery bits where the paint bucket overfills. But once this is done, it makes life a lot easier. That's also why I have to be really careful with my line work, because I need to make sure that all of these little gaps are closed. So that I can just make this one solid piece. And almost done. Make that a little bit lighter purple, I think. And at this point, I tend to save a little more frequently, because sometimes this program likes to just, when I'm doing a paint bucket fill, it likes to just randomly close. So that's the only downside I think from this program, is once in a while It just does poopy things. But for the most part, it's a solid program. Oh, also, if you do use it, turn autosave off. Because it autosaves way too often and it like locks up the program. But any autosave does that. I always have autosave off. I regret it later because eventually, you know, something will crash. But it's better than it getting laggy and weird. To me, anyway. Nesty spot. Now I'm just gonna kind of go in and toss in some basic idea for color while I kind of sort out exactly what I want to do. So I can do final colors later as long as I start filling in the basic gist of what I'm gonna do. Because once I get each section of color done, then I can easily just go in and change the colors if I don't like what I'm working with. And tossing the colors in here is only the first step, because then I have to go in and make sure that the color goes all the way into the little bits, and that it's actually underneath the line art. You can see here how there's little bits that aren't colored in. I need to make sure that that is colored in, because when I go in to do gradients, if it's not, it puts this halo effect on things. So it's a little more work, but the results are good. Oops. Onward. Just a thought, I don't know. I might do it in like an orangey color. Yeah, definitely not final colors. I need to think about what I actually want to do with this. We can figure out what we're doing with details in a little bit. Just want to get these sections cleaned up. Sorry I'm being so quiet. When I kind of get focused on what I'm doing, I tend to zone out a little bit, but I think most artists kind of do that. It's a little hard to focus on what I'm doing and attempt to be entertaining. That's why game streams are easier, because I can just chat while I'm, while something's happening on screen. And I can often chat about the game I'm playing, whereas I'm, it's just a dragon. There's not much I can say about it. Other than dragons are cool. Well, I'm glad you're at least enjoying it. I need to get some different music that won't get me beat down by the YouTube algorithm. As far as copyright stuff goes. I have tons of music, but most of it's probably like soundtracks to games and stuff that'll probably get me flagged. And I used to stream on Twitch, and if I'd have music playing in the background, I would just have playlists playing in the background, and it would typically just be soundtrack stuff. Twitch would just turn off my sound altogether, even my mic sound. So I wouldn't even know that my stream would be silent until like I'd go back to watch the VOD and be like, oh, they just like during the stream they just took all the sound away because my stuff was claimed by some company. And look, I think copyright law should definitely be in place. Just, it's so hard to know like what you can like use for your stream and what you can't. Well, it's like one of those things where streamers who stream games, they'll get copyright strikes because there's music in the game that they can stream that's copywritten by a company, and because it's not licensed by the streamer, but it's licensed by the game, the streamer gets in trouble. And it's just like, well, I don't know. And then you, like, there's even some games that have specific toggle in the settings that's for stream-friendly play that removes all of the copywritten music from the game. It's... I don't know. Look, I'm all for copyright protection, but I don't think having 30 seconds of some music is stealing someone's music. I don't know, maybe that's a bad attitude to have, since I'm very against like things like AI art where someone is using someone else's artwork to, to make their artwork. But I'm not trying to make a profit off of someone's music. I just want to have it in the background for something to have. But I guess the music company considers that exactly that I'm using their music as a means to make money. mean, additionally too, there's bad actors out there too who will copyright claim stuff that doesn't belong to them. And YouTube especially will just go with it. They'll just take your stuff down and you can dispute it, but it always seems like that person who's doing the bad gets rewarded, while the person who's trying to do the stream gets punished even though they didn't do anything wrong. Because YouTube is going to side with the person who's putting up the claim so they don't get sued. I can cheat. Oh, yeah, YouTube's not going to go after people that make YouTube money, but they'll go after other people. Copyright stuff is really weird. Basically, rules on copyright need to be updated. But again, most of the people who are making the laws and rules about copyright don't even understand how the internet works, so how do you explain to a congressman about modern copyright laws and how it's not fair? Because you can't explain it to them in a way that is going to make sense to them, because they don't understand the basics of current technology. And I don't know what the answer is, because, like I said, I want artwork and music and movies and things to be protected, but at the same time, when fair use says that you can use, up to a certain amount of time of a piece of media while making it transformative, so you're talking over it or you're giving commentary, and it's still copyright claimed by the original owner, even though it falls under the concept of fair use, and YouTube doesn't do anything about it, what do you do? Because there's no protection for that person who is making the transformative media. And now that the person can fight it, but I mean, there's not a lot they can do. So like even in the past, a bunch of my old videos have copyright claims on them, but at least in those particular cases, the copyright holder didn't do any action against those claims, because the music, technically, I pulled out of YouTube's music archive that's supposed to be like free to use music, but I'm still getting claimed on it. It doesn't hurt me to get claimed, but if you get a strike, that hurts you. So I don't know, even YouTube's music library, like, doesn't seem safe from claims. It's like, kind of, what's the point of having that music library if I'm gonna get, like, dinged for using the music? So that was literally the hardest part of making videos. Wasn't just the straight up editing, and the time taking to film stuff. It was finding music that was appropriate, or like that, kind of fit, or because I'd have to sit there. It's like a new piece of music, so I'd have to sit there and listen to it, see if it worked, and then add that to my library, and then add that to my video. And then sometimes it would be claimed, even though it was from YouTube's free library. It was... God. And you ask, like, kids today, like, what do they want to be? And they were like, oh, I want to be a YouTube creator. It's like, no, you don't. No. It's hard. Because one thing, like, I make a 10-minute video and I spend like 5 hours, like, editing and recording and just making the video. So it wasn't never just like, here's a simple video. No, it always takes a bunch of time, like more time than you would think. Like some of these vlog channels where people post like every couple of days, I have no idea like how they're doing that. And I know some people have like editors and stuff that do stuff for them, but I can't afford that. Otherwise, I would definitely be making more content. I want to start making like kind of tutorial videos and stuff, but I don't even have proper editing software on either of my office computers. I have editing software at my house computer, but I can't transfer the license for that software to this computer because it's a very old version of the program, and of course the company that makes the program is now doing the whole like subscription service, and it's like $50 a month to use the same program I have at home. Like, I am not made of money. I don't know where these companies think. People are just, like, rolling in it. Oh, I saw that yesterday. I put a little post on Twitter about that. That's ridiculous. I mean, if they want, make them charge a bit more for Unity or something. Don't do some arbitrary fee for every download of your game. That feels just so money grubby. I mean, I'm just switching to Unreal rather than use Unity. Because I know a lot of people who use Unity because it's an easier program kind of to get into, from what I've heard. I don't know for certain. But, so that's why, like, a lot of small developers like Unity, so you're not doing anything except hurting smaller studios. Because the big studios can probably afford it. Ah, does it? See, that would be awful because I have 4 computers I install programs on. Like, I have Palia installed on 3 computers. I tried installing it on this one, but it won't run because obviously it doesn't have a graphics card. But I thought I'd try anyway. Um, so yeah, if like, just imagine like that company getting charged 3 times because I reinstalled the game on my different computers. That's just egregious. I guess too it counts for pirated versions of the game too. So if someone steals a copy or gets it from like a BitTorrent, then that's gonna count. So what happens too if my game gets corrupted and I have to reinstall it? Is the company gonna get like charged again because I had to do a fresh install of the game on my PC? Like, because that happens. That happens more often than I want to admit. Where I have to like reinstall a game because something happens to it. It's a company coming up with a cool idea for themselves without really thinking of all the detrimental consequences. Like, I don't know, maybe they should charge a subscription fee like everyone else for to use Unity or something, rather than this random, we're gonna, make you pay for every download of your game. I mean, heck, I hate that I have to pay a subscription fee to use Photoshop, but it is what it is, because I do use Photoshop enough that I can justify paying my $10 a month for it, but ugh. Yeah, I think it's a big discouragement if you're gonna make a game in an engine and then you find out that, oh, I have to pay you every time someone downloads my game. Well, I'm just gonna go use Unreal Engine. Even though I guess like the new Unreal Engine is super, super nice. Like where it just procedurally generates environments and entire maps for you that are like really, really nice. Game development is actually something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to make kind of a Palia-esque game. But, like, where do you even start? Like, I think it would be super neat to make, like, my perfect version of what I would consider, like, a farming light slash life sim game. Yeah, wouldn't that be neat? Just, like, because you always have, you play a game and you're like, oh, I wish the game did this. And then if you just had the know-how to make your own game, then you could just do it. I've been watching a streamer that I've been watching for a couple years, and he mostly streams like, just kind of cozy games like I want to do. But he started with Unity building his own MMO. And he's gotten like really far and he's just teaching himself how to do it. And I'm like, I want to do that. Yes, I have seen Paleopines. I actually have the demo on my computer. I just haven't really got any time to play it because I've been a bit obsessed with Palea. I think I'm gonna wait till the full release, and I think that's pretty soon. But I'll probably actually stream that when it becomes available for full release. Yeah, Paleopines was definitely one of those that I've been keeping an eye on. And there's Fae Farm, which looks cute, but for some reason it just doesn't quite appeal to me, and I don't know if it's because I don't like how the characters look. Like, the game itself looks really pretty, but the characters, I don't like that weird, like, Robloxy kind of style, I guess. Oh, okay. I'll probably stream that on the 26th. Well, I knew it came out this month, I just wasn't sure when. That's good it's the 26th, because on the 21st, I'm going to FanimeCon. That's like, basically Comic-Con here in Salt Lake City. In fact, it used to be called Comic-Con, and then Comic-Con sued them for calling it Comic-Con. Because Comic-Con didn't want people getting confused. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, but the demo for Paleopines was cute. I just... We'll see. I had some issues with the controls for it. It felt a little clunky, so I don't know if, like, they're gonna make any improvements. I'm sure they will for the full release. I think that was the only reason I didn't, like, play it for a lot longer than I did. No, not particularly. Um, I never played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games or anything. I'm not into games like that, really. Now, don't get me wrong, I like horror stuff, but I don't really like horror games. Like, sit me down with a horror movie anytime, but... So, I mean, I'll probably, because it's going to be a horror movie, I'll probably end up watching it, but I don't really know much about the movie, other than it's coming out. Now, what I am excited for is the Toho Godzilla movie that's coming out, I think November. It's gonna actually release in the United States. That's exciting, and it looks really good, and I really want to see it. I love me some kaiju movies. Yeah, I don't even watch streams of those games. Because I don't need to be like sitting and doing other stuff and get jump scared. Because most of the time when I'm watching videos or something, I'm doing other stuff. Like I'm playing games or I'm working. And I don't even remember what movie was the last movie I saw in a theater. I think it was Godzilla King of Monsters, and it was what, 3, 4 years ago? It was before the pandemic. Yeah, the last thing I need is when I'm paying like half attention to a stream, and then all of a sudden, like the person on the screen just like starts screaming because something scared them, and then I jump, and then I don't need that stress. Yeah, I kind of I don't know, with the advent of streaming and you can just watch movies at home, I'd rather just kind of do that. Plus, it's kind of expensive to go to movies. Not kinda, it is expensive to go to movies. Why would I want to pay like, 20 bucks to go to a movie? Forget buying anything at the concession stand. I don't know. I haven't had a good experience in a movie theater in a while. And even like the last time when I went to go see King of Monsters, right in front of us there was a family. The theater didn't have that many people, but right in front of us there was this family, and the dad and the kids seemed to be really into the movie, but the mom was sitting there literally complaining out loud to her husband about how she hated movies like this and didn't want to be there. Like the entire movie. Not even like being quiet about it or whispering, just like super out loud. I do love some movie popcorn, though. I will attest to that. I don't know what crack they put into the butter, but it is good. I mean, I don't know. Even if, like, if I saw that my kids were enjoying a movie, right? I wouldn't just sit there and complain because you weren't enjoying it. I would just let them enjoy it instead of trying to make everyone feel bad because you weren't having a good time. It's like, why did you even go to this movie? Why didn't you go see something else and let your husband and your kids see the big monster movie? I don't know. I just thought it was incredibly selfish behavior, especially since I had to sit there and listen to it through, like, you know, most of the movie. And I enjoyed it, and I love big, dumb horror monster movies. It's my jam. But I do have to say a lot of my, I would say recent, but a lot of my experiences at the theater in the past, like when I was going more, weren't the best. Because there was always people talking or on their phone or something during the movie. It's like, why did you even come to the movie if you're gonna sit on your phone the whole time? But oh well. That's why I like watching movies at home from the comfort of my couch. It's just so rude. Like you're the only person in the theater and you're just gonna sit there on your phone. And it's like, are people just not self-aware that they're being rude, or they're actually like their phone has a bright screen and it's kind of messing the movie up for other people? Or is it just they just don't care? Probably they just don't care. And it's a shame because all the theaters here in Utah are those have like big, comfy, like recliny seats. So actually going to the movies is kind of nice. When I lived in California, all of the theaters, even the newer ones, were just like the hard, normal theater seats. So moving here and having theaters with like actually comfy seating was neat. Too bad I don't want to go to the movies anymore. Oh, hey there. I am doing all right. I am just being an old woman complaining about bad patrons in theaters. Uh, people on their cell phones when they shouldn't be. How are you doing, Bio? It has been a minute. You know, it's especially I hate I hate that too, especially since I just paid a bunch of money to come to a movie. It's not like movies are cheap. Yeah, just saying the only movie I'm gonna go see this year is gonna be the Toho Godzilla movie, -1. And that is a must. That is a must to see on the big screen. I will brave the movie theater for that. But in truth, I don't think there's much in the movie theaters right now that's worth seeing. I was looking the other day just to see kind of what was playing. Not that I really wanted to go, but I was just curious, and I'm like, wow, I want to see nothing here. It was all, almost everything on the list was a sequel to something. Oh, alright, cool, cool. I know the dragon theme for this year hasn't been your cup of tea. Um, I needed to do it for myself because I was feeling rather burnt out. But I want to get back into doing like creature designs and stuff again. I've heard mixed things on the Barbie movie. It looks cute. It's probably fine. It's not really my cup of tea. I don't really like comedy-ish movies. But at least going to the theater to watch comedies. It's a comedy, right? I don't even know much about it. I'm gonna be opening up Draco Ween slots here in probably the end of the week, so I can kind of start working on those since they're black and white pieces while I'm trying to finish up these. I just found this year it's taking me longer to get art done, but I kind of feel like I'm maybe putting more detail into stuff, so maybe that's why it's taking longer. So it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, where a piece used to take me about a day, it's now taking me at least 2. I played a little bit. Oh wait, I'm thinking Dragonflight. No, Flight Rising? Oh, yeah, I use Flight Rising every day. I was a Kickstarter founder for Flight Rising. One of the monster designs that's in the game is actually like my design. Yeah, Bio, I'd love to work on some of your D&D stuff. Just give me a holler. God, I miss D&D. Years ago, I used to play all the time. And we're talking like probably 3-4 times a week. Because it was my boyfriend and I would run games, and then our friends would come over, and we just played D&D all the freaking time. And only kind of stopped when we moved and when I got burnt out because I was having to DM so much. But it's hard, like, now trying to kind of find a group of people to play with, especially since I don't really know anyone here in Utah where I moved. And I tried to get my sister to, like, play, like her and her husband, but she would have nothing to do with D&D. Like, okay. And she's nerdier than I am, but no, D&D was just a no-go for her, which made me sad. Oh, the part of the Kickstarter was you got to design a familiar to go into the game. So I just used one of my adoptable critters. Ended up becoming a familiar that one of the artists like converted into something that worked for the game. But so it's one of my designs that I thought was kind of neat. Ended up in the game. Yeah, I was really surprised when I brought up the suggestion of playing D&D to my sister, because I thought it would, because my sis like me and my sister were separated when we were little kids, so we didn't even know each other existed, and we found each other when we were in our 20s, and we kind of developed a relationship, and I thought that D&D would be a really good way to bond, and she just would have none of it, which made me a little sad. But I guess she had some bad D&D experience or something with an old boyfriend who, like, would play all the time and ignore her or something. I don't know. It was a weird kind of... sounded like a lame excuse to me, but, you know. I would have to... I'll dig up the creature and put it on my Twitter so that you can see it later. I'd have to go dig around for it and find it on their website and then show you, like, my reference stuff, too. D&D is fun. If you can find the right people. Sometimes you'll get into games that are... I have been in my share of really bad games. But as long as you're playing with friends, it's usually great. It is a good time. Well, I would typically push like really heavy RP stuff in my games. There would, of course, be combat, but there would be more intrigue and political stuff happening behind the scenes rather than just like, we're gonna go into dungeon and kill stuff. No, I have not seen the Dicelings. I didn't even see the D&D movie. I want to see that. I just need to see where it's streaming and then maybe watch it. I've heard it was like okay. My best advice to you about DMing: do not pull your punches. I did that for a while, where like you had that inkling to like just not quite kill the player. No, do it, kill them. Don't pull your punches. Don't hold back, because honestly, it's so much more fun if they do stupid stuff and they suffer the consequences. Because I ran some games where people did some of the dumbest things, and you even kind of give them like the, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And they do it, and it's comedy gold. I just remember one of the best times was this guy had already lost a character, and it was because I wasn't pulling punches in this game, and I rolled 2 natural 20s in a row. Character got just obliterated by like an orc. So he rolls another character, and he's playing this necromancer, and he's still low level, and he's got a dagger, and for some reason, he thinks it's a great idea to go melee as a caster against a rogue, like, vampire. And that did not end well for him. And he died. Terribly. In fact, in that encounter, everyone was supposed to eventually make friends with this vampire character, but they decided to attack the character instead, even though I had already established that he was super powerful and in charge of like this whole uh like yeah, he was running this big brothel in this city, and they were supposed to befriend him because he was supposed to kind of send them off on this quest, but they decided no, we're gonna like because they found out he had a bunch of treasure, so they thought it was a great idea to try to rob him. So yeah, it didn't go well. I'd even tried to make the character like extra friendly and like super helpful, but they're not. No, no, they were gonna be murder hobos and try to steal the treasure. I think too many of the people that were playing were too used to like the RPG mentality of like go into someone's house, steal their stuff, and then ask them about your quest. Ah, but good old D&D. Fun times. The best times were just people doing stupid stuff and sometimes getting away with it. Oh, Hexblade is fun. I played a Hexblade once. And the very last D&D game I played, though, my friend was running it, and he's like, "Okay, don't worry, I've come up with your backstory." Like, oh, okay. He's like, "Yeah, because like I need you to like do certain thing in the game." Like, okay, cool. So what's my backstory? So my backstory was I was a princess from a foreign land that had amnesia and didn't know I was a princess. Like, oh, that is the most cliche anime BS I've ever heard. But it's fun to just run headlong into a boss in a video game and try and figure out what you're supposed to do. And then you realize you were just supposed to like hit a button and it was a really easy fight. Like, oh, you dropped the thing on the boss, okay. Man, one of my favorite characters I ever played. I think there was a module from like Dragon Magazine, and it was called the Devoted Defender. So I was a tank character, but in provided I was defending someone, I was virtually unstoppable. So I always just marked one target in the party as the person I was defending, and then I just obliterated every encounter in the game. the DM hated me, but he let me play it. And I tried to like hold back too, because I didn't want to just like hog all the glory, but when I also had like a Vorpal sword, so I accidentally killed the main big bad guy in like the first encounter with the main big bad guy. Because I lopped off his head. Even though he was supposed to be like the big bad for the entire campaign. Oops. Well, the problem was the DM, like, because we started at higher level for the game. So we got to make... You get a whole bunch of gold to start out when you start out at higher level. So I ended up making this Vorpal sword, and I had, like, all this armor, and I was just this juggernaut. I was absolutely unstoppable as, like, a character. And he let me play it, and it wasn't like an official class. It was, like I said, it was one of those modules that came in like the old Dragon magazines. But it was so broken and so awesome to play. But yeah, the look on his face when I accidentally killed his main character was priceless. Like, because I didn't realize it was like the main bad guy either. I just went up and attacked him because like he was attacking people in the village. So like I just went and did the thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure he ended up making like a new bad guy or whatever, but yeah. It was the fact that I just completely face rolled the guy. Good times. I've been playing Baldur's Gate, and I am like, my rolls in that game are awful. So freaking terrible. Like, it doesn't matter if I have like a bunch of really good modifiers. I'm gonna roll like a 2. Like, oh, you want to save the child? You rolled a 3. Child is dead. Good job. But I've watched a lot of other streamers play Baldur's Gate, and they seem to, like, have really bad rolls too. So I'm, like, wondering, like, if it's just something in the game system? Because I always have really low rolls. Also, I hate the movement system in the game. I wish it had normal movement, and then instead of you being using the keyboard to move the camera, that I could use the keyboard to move, and then use my mouse to move the camera. Because so many other games I play are that way, and Baldur's Gate is the opposite. And I want to try to like move my camera and end up moving the characters instead. I think there's a mod for that though. Oh, that sounds super fun. Ah, I love like Pantheon stuff. Like I've always wanted to do like a themed series of like monsters and stuff from specific pantheons. Like, I think that would be super cool. I love mythology stuff. And I've kind of tried to do it before and I've just kind of been unsuccessful. Maybe next year. Maybe that'll be next year's theme. I'll be like pantheons. See, like, learning the different types of creatures and gods and stuff from different cultures is just neat. There's so much stuff out there. And I want to do more of it because, like, you can only draw so many orcs and so many dragons, so many, cockatrices. There's all kinds of other monsters out there that people don't even know exist. Yeah, but this year the dragons were just kind of my comfort designs because they were just something to fall back onto because I just needed something to help me deal with my burnout. But I've been really wanting to draw other stuff now. I'm getting burnt out on drawing dragons. Yeah, last year just wasn't super great for me mentally, and it took me a while to kind of start feeling like myself again. So that's one of the reasons I went and just did the dragons because I just needed something that was Not going to be super stressful. Um, I think it helped. And I'm feeling much, 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 much better. Last year was just weird. I don't know what happened. But I think I kind of get the impression that last year for a lot of people wasn't great. Well, I think too, it was just like a lot of small things that went kind of wrong or didn't go, I wouldn't even say went wrong. They just didn't go smoothly. And so that put a damper on me wanting to do stuff. Um, like my computer situation, I wanted to start streaming 2 years ago, but it's literally taken me up to this point to get all the computer stuff sorted out because of getting a computer, the computer not working, sending it back, that taking months, getting it back, having it for a couple months, having it break again. Like, it just when you're having to deal with stuff like that, it just really deflates you. Especially since I had really wanted to do streaming, so I bought a streaming PC. I It was right at the start of the pandemic actually, and I wasn't aware that I wasn't going to get that computer for 6 months. So by the time the computer actually got to me, like my drive to start streaming was kind of low, and then that computer broke down after 4 months, and then it took me almost 6 months to get it sent back to return it. It was just a whole bunch of little defeats that just thank, all of my drive to want to do stuff. I think too, as an artist, like, so I'm sitting in my studio right now that I'm paying a monthly fee to, like, to do stuff here. But I rented this place when my shop was doing super well. And now my shop's doing really bad. And my shop was doing super well because it was pandemic numbers and everyone was buying stuff because they were stuck at home. And then I think I'm not the only artist who went to the expense of renting a studio and, buying extra equipment and spending all this money because they kind of thought that this is it. We're all gonna do great and it's gonna continue, and then the bottom kind of fell out. Oh, blue screen of death. Ugh. I murdered a laptop last year by dropping it from down the stairs. And in your brain, it's just doing that slow motion tumble as it rolls down the stairs, and you're just listening to the internal mechanisms of it crack and break as it goes down the stairs. I think it'll help with the writing. I write my stupid fan fiction stuff, and I haven't worked on it in months, and I feel really bad because it's kind of at a weird point in the story that I need to continue working because I do post it to AO3. And I've been really wanting to get back into it, but every time I start working on the chapter I'm doing, I fizzle out because I know what I want to do with a chapter. I just don't know how to quite get there. I guess what I should just do is just write it. Just get it done, write it, and not worry too much about how it's formatted. So I can get to the chapters I actually do want to work on. It's one of those like in-between chapters that is necessary, but doesn't necessarily like, I don't know. It pushes the plot forward in a way, but it's kind of, it's a middle chapter where it needs to be there, but it's not necessarily like super important to the story. It's almost a fluff chapter, but I need it there. I don't know. Like, I hate to say it's like a padding chapter, but I kind of need that chapter there because I'm trying to establish a relationship between two characters. And I can't just jump to the action stuff because I need more bonding for the characters. Because I actually have a couple chapters for the future done, but I can't do them yet until I finish the next two more chapters to get to the other two chapters I have written. So I need to work on that eventually. And it's my stupid Final Fantasy fan fiction, and I can write whatever I want because it makes me happy. And I haven't had this problem, but I have seen other writers who do fan fiction, and people will like complain to them because they don't like how a certain character is portrayed, and they want it to be rewritten so it makes them happy. It's like, it's not written for you though. It's written. Most writers are writing for themselves. I mean, I've been fortunate that people who read my terrible writing have been very supportive, and they want more. And it's such a nice feeling that people like are interested in my stupid story with my stupid character. It's like, my vision for the character you're writing isn't the same as yours, but you need to write it like how I see it. Like, why are you watching a thing on Bean Soup if you... Uh, why are you watching a video on Bean Soup? You don't want Bean Soup. Sorry, just a second. My program decided to poop out on me. I think I've seen something similar where someone's doing like some beef stew and they get upset because there's not a vegan alternative, and it's like, it's beef stew. Just don't put beef in it. Done. Here, now it's working again. But I'm glad to be streaming again. God, it's been a hot minute since I streamed. Oh yeah, that's the World of Warcraft fandom right freaking there. You can't say if someone is really into Warcraft, you cannot say anything bad about the game. I mean, I don't play Warcraft anymore. I played for 18 years. It is, I don't know. I play Final Fantasy now. Much better community, much better game. I still have some trauma from World of Warcraft. I still don't like partying with people because of how toxic partying in Warcraft was. Well, I'm glad. That's what I want to do with these streams. I just want a chill place for people to, like, hang out. And you might hear sounds in the background. The guy who owns the building just came in. So the office that I rent in, it's actually it's a real estate office, but it's pretty much like I have the place to myself most of the time, because the agents that work out of here, it's really seldom that they come in. So it's kind of nice. So 9 times out of 10, like, I've got the whole building to myself. And actually the building too is this little house. They used to belong to this little old lady, so like a bunch of the windows are these pretty stained glass windows with little heart patterns in them. And but it's been converted into an office space. It's like super cute. Yeah, so despite the fact that my Etsy does not pay for this place like it used to, I'm still gonna keep it. Because I do have enough income coming in from other streams that I can afford this place for now. And it is nice to get out of the house and have a place to go to work. But I'm probably going to do these art streams kind of more regularly because I think it's also going to be a good way for me to have a focus where I have to sit and be doing art, where I can't really get distracted and go do other projects or other side things, which has been a problem lately. You'll, oh, work on art for an hour and then go work on this other project, and then, 5 hours later I'm still working on the other project and I haven't gone back to the art piece. So probably, more than likely, I'm gonna probably be streaming art whenever I'm working on a piece. Only issue right now really is trying to determine kind of a schedule. I haven't really been. I wanted to stream on Monday, but that fell through. I think Fridays will be a good day to stream because just doing like random upload kind of stuff isn't great for your algorithm. And I eventually need to become I would like to become partnered on YouTube so I can start earning a little bit of ad revenue. Yeah, I actually think that it will help if I have like, some like I need to sit and do this thing. I think that'll actually like be a good focus for me. And also I've needed to do stream because apparently it's not good enough for a person to just be an artist. You have to also be a video producer, an entertainer, a comedian, 15 other like things. Like I don't know how some artists like manage to do all the stuff that they do. Like TikTok and Reels and like I find it hard enough just like turning on stream software. I don't know how other people like make videos like every couple of days and do art and do business stuff. My guess is on voodoo. They're using some sort of black magic. It is the only explanation. Okay, I'm gonna say this though. I absolutely appreciate you guys like chatting with me because like it gives me like something to talk about, because it's hard to come up with just like random things. But if I'm just like, I get to chat with people, that's cool. Because whenever I did Twitch streams, like no one would talk. Cloning. It's cloning. So yeah, no one would talk in the stream, and so it would be really awkward because I would try to come up with stuff, but no one would respond. One of the reasons I kind of like didn't really like Twitch is it's also, I guess, when I really think about Twitch, Twitch is just kind of gaming, and yeah, people do art stuff, but I think people are expecting like gaming stuff on Twitch. Also, Twitch's revenue share is deplorable, so I would much rather try to get partnered on YouTube than to go for ad revenue than to split 50-50 my sub revenue with Twitch. Oh, I'll always interact with chat if there's chat happening. Because, like, what's the point of live streaming if you're not talking to the people who are watching you? That's my thought. But unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to cut the stream off here. I'll have to finish the rest of this off stream. I've got a couple things I got to get done before 5 o'clock rolls around. So I better get the orders I got to get done accomplished so I can get them to the post office. But I think I will stream tomorrow. It might not be this piece. I'd kind of like to try to get this done before I go home. But I'll definitely be streaming probably something. So I'm going to say adios to you guys. I thank you so very much for coming and hanging out, and I hope you come and hang out with me again. This has been really fun. And I appreciate you guys so very, very much. It was like cool to actually get to chat with people rather than just sitting here listening to a little music. So thank you. Alrighty, I will look forward to seeing that note. Bye, guys.